All right, I'm going to actually put a link in my description. It is to a Reddit forum. Um, I do not really comb through Reddit much anymore for anything because I already know the legitimate places that I need to go to find information that can be verified. Um, but this link, I mean, it gives you a basic description of how naked shorting and fails to deliver and um, the T35 settlement system. It goes into the threshold securities list and how market makers and shit, they can roll these fucking FTDs over to other market makers, and it's a never ending loop, which is why all of these filings that everyone says, well, these filings don't do nothing, they're not doing that, they're not doing nothing. Well, they're all being put in place, and like I said, I don't think the majority of them, the bulk of what we need to see change, isn't going to happen until next year. But there are some little nuanced things that may be part of the reason why, we're seeing some change in environment. Um, because it's not simple. It's not. And the initial DD is from 2019. It has nothing to do with GameStop or fucking AMC as a whole. It's borrowed DD from a guy who is cited, and it's a nice long read, but it does a very good job of covering pretty much how these guys are able to get away with what they get away with. And every time you think something is supposed to happen and then it doesn't, you're like, well, how did that happen? Well, this does a pretty good job of explaining exactly how these fuckers have been doing what they do, and they have been doing it for years. I mean, I am fucking telling you, since this shit turned into a digital system, it has been just free for all for anyone with millions of dollars for the most part. But especially if you happen to own a hedge fund or a market maker, or you're a hedge fund who's really, really tight with any market makers, which a bunch of them are, or big financial institutions. Um, the whole stop buying and stop fucking with shit or whatever, that would be good. That would work if we own the float. Like, we would need the entire fucking thing, the vast, vast majority of it. But you have lenders like BlackRock and Vanguard that will continue to do whatever they wish and will with the shares they have to continually make money. Um, we don't control this entire thing. Yes, it's possible we own 500% of the float. Like, we have everything. We're holding everything. They just keep creating more and more and more and more and more. Um, It's yes, you literally can't look at this thing like it's a normal stock. You can't look at it like it's a normal environment and all these normal rules and all this normal shit that's supposed to be normal in the stock. This is not normal. Nothing about it is normal at all. It's a fucking nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare. um, but I'm gonna put the link down there, and it's a very good read. It's very informative. If you see anything that pops out that you don't understand, you can Google it, and something will pop up. And the majority of this stuff is listed all over the place. You just have to, start that walk down that trail, and let one breadcrumb lead you to another breadcrumb. Um, just, do your best to find credible sources. See, the great thing about why I go back in time and shit is because the stuff that I believe is happening and has happened has been documented well before the AMC GME thing. Well fucking before it. So everyone's like, oh, that's stupid. They make that up. That's made up. There's nothing there. That's lies. They just want to. Well, if you dig back before this and all the FUD, reverse FUD, whatever everyone's calling things now, and you go back in time to before AMC, GME, all these retail investors, all these new investigators, blah, 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 this shit is talked about in depth so much everywhere. Fucking everywhere. I'm telling you, like, the if not for us, for the retail investors, none of this would change. The SEC fucking be taking cuts from these motherfuckers for shit. It's all throughout the comments on filings of shit that people, honest, or well, mostly honest people, in the stock market wanted to see these changes and wanted to protect retail investors and wanted everyone to have transparency and a level playing field. And the SEC shrugged off a bunch of this shit. Just, whatever. I mean, I told you there's a dude that literally wrote a 142-page comment. It was a comment that he had to like staple and mail to the fucking SEC, and it got put on the comments board anyway. You can find it on the internet. And what that shit outlines is fucking mind blowing. And it's from like 2007. It's insane. It's fucking insane. uh, so anytime you're like, oh man, well, I thought that they were going to have to do this, or someone said somewhere that this is what happens here, scratch all that shit. This whole market was created by them, for them. They wrote the rule book. They handpicked regulators. All of this shit is to allow them to keep doing everything they possibly can to put more money in their pockets and take it from anyone else around them. That's what this fucking beast does. Um, that's why it's important that if you're an independent retail investor, part of this whole ordeal, that you're not just focused and only talking about AMC, GME all the time. What's going on with that? Look around the entire market, the broad market. Look into filings, that don't necessarily have anything to do with GME or AMC. Like, try to educate yourself more on it, because it's all out there. It's fucking out there. But I'm going to put that link in the description. And Monty, I know I saw your buy shares, no options only, brother. Uh, Again, the only reason this thing went from fucking 1450 and blew up to 72 like it did was because of options. Um, yes, buying shares is of the utmost importance. It is the basic rule and necessity in order to initiate any squeeze or price movement at all. But laddering an options chain is how you force a squeeze. It's not how you keep fighting and fighting and fucking barely getting up to the next rung. It's how you go straight Super Saiyan in this motherfucker. Um, you fight in that battle and then you cross that line, and then all of a sudden, boom, you got all these structured laddered option contracts that intelligent investors set up, and it booms this motherfucker to the next level you need to get to very quickly. So you need a combination of stock and options. Um, it just has to be done properly. Like, I don't even want to know what the total dollar amount is on the wasted fucking money put into the pockets of the market makers of all of those contracts, $80 and above. Um, that's for the last 2 months. I don't even want to know. I literally don't want to know. I'm shuddering thinking about it. But yeah, there's no way I can't go over all this. I can't. It's so in depth. Um, there's just so many different ways for them to do nefarious bullshit, man. Uh, it's craziness. It is absolutely craziness. That's what I'm saying. That's why we have to take this motherfucker a day at a time. Day at a time. Make money where we can on a daily basis. And, like I said, I try to make sure at the end of the day, I grab a contract or two, whatever, a call or put or both or whatever, just to make sure I got skin in the game. I typically always have a call just in case, because this whole area right here is where this motherfucker blew up last time. It was right in here. That shit started going up in the after hours, and when pre-market hit, that motherfucker was rocking and rolling, and when that bell dinged, that shit took off, man. And if you weren't in it when that happened, you were going to have a hell of a time trying to get into it, because you're going to be trying to buy, and the price is constantly going up higher of whatever you're trying to buy. By the time it gets fucking picked up, it's not going to be at that price, and it won't get executed anymore. You will have to have your hands ready if you're not in when it goes, and it's going to, if it's at like 50 and running up, you're just going to have to like put an order in for fucking 60 or 70 or something, just to ensure you get it. Um, so yeah, there's that whole bag, and also with the I've already gone over the share thing and broke that shit down. Unless you have like 100 or 200 grand, which if you want to loan me that, sure, I'll buy nothing but stock with that. If you want to hook me up with that, that ain't gonna do shit for anybody. Anyone attempting to get life-changing money from this, they're not gonna get it with, you know, I'd say probably less than 20 grand in the stock, like stock itself. You're probably not going to achieve life-changing wealth. Probably not. I really don't think this is going to be allowed to blow up like everyone thinks it is. Um, it should have. It should have in June. Everything dictated and trended and said it was getting ready to do so. And then it was stopped. It was halted. I really think this is going to be managed to where it spurts and rips. And this literally, theoretically, it could take years. If the naked shorting and shit is as bad as people have suggested and believe that it is, this could be a fucking thing that gets bumped and knocked down and bumped and knocked down for the next year or two, dude. Like seriously, it's not a fucking joke. Um, but that's the way I'm playing it, guys. It's day by day, day by day. And like I said, hopefully one day we wake up and it's doing what it did in June. That'd be fucking awesome. We're still just following trends, man, following patterns, seeing what we can see. You remember how I said, like, back here, people were saying it's going towards a downtrend, and this says that, because little, big, little, usually signals it's dropping off, but nope, now we got a big one, so got the line on the MACD, crossing over, still thin. I really want to see it fucking just a nice gap between there and get over the histogram. When this bitch gets like over the histogram, I'm gonna be more excited. Like I'll be way more excited over the histogram and uptrending. I'll be very excited. Uh, but like I mean, you can see it here even into the days leading up to the June run. You know, you had the cross, the gap over the signal, rode it a little bit, then started breaking away from it and gapping up and over the histogram, pulling up over it. You know, it's really what I'm looking for the most. But yeah, let me drop that. I'm going to put the fucking link down there and you guys can go read. And I haven't read the entire thing, but I read the guy's shit from 2019 that this is based off of. And he pulled a bunch of information and I just kind of siphoned through it. And a lot of it that I read looks very correct and matches what I read from the dude Larry who wrote an actual whole fucking in-depth DD on this thing, a huge analysis in 2019. And I actually think it's from a fucking Torch Reddit subreddit, TRCH, not even from AMC or GME, but I think this guy, when he's breaking it down, uses GameStop as an example. I think it's from March of this year, I think, is when he did his shit. I don't know. I can't remember. But I'm going to put it in the description, and you guys feel free to peruse through it, and hopefully it'll give you a better understanding of the fucking game that you're playing and who you're playing against. I'm out.